You have Sir Alex Ferguson, who brings brand value to the team, who brings a lot of contribution, advice, and other things that he's doing for the team. And then you look at other places where you can cut off these expenses. And you are looking elsewhere. You are looking to Sir Alex Ferguson's money. That's his pension for crying out loud.
Now let's get it started. Let's get it started.
Play ball!
The Ineos have decided to cut off Sir Alex Ferguson's multi-million pounds ambassador deal. They made that decision today. Sir Alex Ferguson will still remain the non-executive staff at Old Trafford. Okay, guys, what do you think that Manchester United are trying to do, cutting off Sir Alex Ferguson? You know, Alex Ferguson has been the icon of why Manchester United became great, John. What do you think that they are actually doing this now?
For me, I look at this move and I feel like, you know, the Ineos team are just coming into Manchester United, coming into office this year. You know, they want to kind of rebrand the club in their image. So, you know I'm supposed to give you facts as to why this should make sense, but for me, it doesn't make sense because, you know, Sir Alex Ferguson is an icon. He's the man who built the club, who made the club what it is, because he came in at a time when the club were bang average side in England and took them on his shoulder for over 26 years, made them the stellar icon they are today in English football. Okay, so, you know, he's left the club in the role of manager a couple of decades now, and he's now working as an executive staff, you know, at the club, and he's on his ambassadorial role in the sense that what he represents to the club, the value he brings to the club, and you know, clubs like football clubs are brands built on memories, and memories built over seasons of winning trophies and going through challenges and coming out of those challenges. So at the end of the day, there's no Manchester United without Sir Alex Ferguson.
You cannot talk about Manchester
You cannot
United.
divest the club from his impact, his legacy at the club, you know. And for me, there are other places to cut the fat in the club. If you tell me that the club is leaking money, the club is hemorrhaging money, I'll agree with you that they're hemorrhaging money, because if you look at the club was bought by the Glazers on a debt. The Glazers borrowed money to buy the club, and they've used the club's finances, the club's success over the past 3 or 4 decades to pay back their own debt at the cost of the club. Okay, we have facilities falling out, we have a lot of things going wrong at Manchester United, which has led up to this moment now where Manchester United is on the precipice of collapse, and the Ineos team are coming in and are looking at where can we cut the fat. And it's sad to see that they are cutting the fat in the multi-millions deal that is being paid to Sir Alex Ferguson, when they have a lot of players in the side whose deals are, you know, are worse off, because you have Sir Alex Ferguson, who brings brand value to the team, who brings a lot of contribution, advice, and other things that he's doing for the team. And then you look at other places where you can cut off these expenses. And you are looking elsewhere. You are looking to Sir Alex Ferguson's money. That's his pension for crying out loud. That's his pension for crying out loud. So why are you looking at cutting the man's pension?
Tampering with the man's pension.
Yeah, tampering the man's livelihood for crying out loud.
You announce retirement. I've not seen a club where after retirement they give an ambassadorial deal. I've not seen any. If you have seen any, as Wenger is one of those people.
He decided to live on his own.
Now, wait, he retired from football coaching for Arsenal. This is retiring from the court job. Now, you won't say Wenger after 26 years he's not supposed to be a legend for Arsenal. He's a legend. But he retired from football, he went to face other business. For Alex Ferguson, the same thing. You retired from football, you went to face other business. Then they just to worship you, or perhaps just to give you some sort of respect, they give you an ambassadorial deal that's worth multi-million pounds. Now this now hemorrhage the fact that whenever the finance of the year comes out, he's being paid. Then people, since he's still on the job, it brings, you know, this now brings a pressure on the coach that is on the job now, that like, oh, this person was here, he did this for 13 years, but yet other coaches cannot have up to 3 years to do their own job. We have the likes of Jose Mourinho and Luis Van Gaal, Moyes, and even Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. They didn't have up to 3 years to do their own job because what? Ferguson was on the job. So whenever they are there, they feel like this pressure of this man did this in 13 years. How can we do this?
Do you know that this is totally off? Like totally
it's
off.
It's not off. It's
it's totally off.
It's not off. It's your own opinion.
It's totally off.
You mentioned the opinion
totally off.
You mentioned the opinion and said he's a legend. He should be on the job. And I countered you with, Arsene Wenger. They could have given him. He could have at least asked for the same role.
Arsene Wenger didn't ask for the role because he had an appointment from FIFA direct to go and do a job.
The Glazers, you can have multiple ambassadorial. It's an ambassador they call it. If you get multiple ambassadorial deal, you can have an ambassadorial deal with 2 beverage companies at the same time. You can have one with a beverage company and another one with some maybe a wristwatch or whatever. But now for Arsene Wenger, he took the FIFA role. There's nothing stops him from taking an ambassador deal for Arsenal.
I think part of the thing he said that he doesn't want to put pressure on the
next coach.
Yes,
that is what the Ineos team are trying to resolve now for Man United.
But he's going to be at the stadium. He's invited. The thing that they say he's invited to come to the stadium anytime he wants. He's still as a non-executive member of the club.
As a legend, Eric Cantona. You remember the message Eric Cantona sent to Zlatan Ibrahimovic? You know, there's no way you talk about Man United without talking about King Eric. And he sent a message to Zlatan. What did he say? He said, you remember now, because as Zlatan was, I'm the new king of Man United. And he said, you are a prince. I am still the king. What was Zlatan's response? Your time is past. It is my time now. I am the new king. That was Zlatan's response. And the matter died there. Now, for you to put your dominance, you need to make sure that this person is no longer in the job. So, on that ambassadorial deal, he has more to say as an ambassador and every other thing in Man United than any other coach that comes in. He puts that pressure on the coach. Moyes said something about it. Though Moyes was a friend of his, he said something about it. Jose Mourinho said something about it, but people didn't really take it to light. He's a good coach. Nobody's saying he's not a great coach. He's a great man. But for Man United at the time, I think his advice should be somewhere else now. He should be looking to groom. He should be looking to go back to Scotland and groom some other coaches. Not come and decide how long the coach in Man United stays.
If you look at it in this angle, you are looking at it when they decided to do that meeting for Ten Hag. He was involved in that meeting.
He's an executive. He has the right to be in the meeting.
But now the thing buzzing in social media is that how can you sack Alex first before sacking Ten Hag? But in general, do you think that Man U made the right decision?
For me, I don't think Manchester United made the right decision, because when you talk about the ambassadorial role he's playing in, you talk about when Manchester United have had fallouts with their fan group, supporters group, when the supporters group were coming against the Glazers fan. You can talk about him coming as an ambassador, playing his ambassadorial role with regards to the fan base, when the fan base were having issues with the management and the ownership of the club. And you now have him playing that role in terms of meeting with fan groups, talking about the club's agenda and moving negotiations forward on behalf of the club. That's part of the role he plays. When you talk about the new ownership coming into the footballing side, or the Glazers prior to the Ineos coming in, you talk about the Glazers looking at, okay, we want to make certain decisions about the club. Look at what we want to do. Look at what we want to do. You lean on him for advice. He's there to advise on, like, okay, look at how this is. Look at how this is. Look at how this is. With regards to the players, he's had no access to the players. He's had no access to the coaching staff. He's just there as an executive doing what he should do in his ambassadorial roles. Finish. You understand me? So in that role, not having anything, it's not his fault if he is Sir Alex Ferguson. For example, if you work somewhere and you come in there, they tell you that this guy used to be the great man here. Oh, look at his record, look at his stuff, look at whatever. That should be an aspiration for whoever is coming there to walk in that footstep. Not necessarily that you guys need to go and tear down this man's record for this club, get him out of the office so that I can feel good to do my job. Who the hell are you, for crying out loud? This is Sir Alex Ferguson. So in that light, I feel it's a wrong move. If you come to the light of finances, there are 1,001 different places that deal could have been cut off from and kept Sir Alex Ferguson in his role. And that's my opinion.
I laugh. Look, if you say ambassador, he has a job. No matter how you put it, he has a job as an executive. He's still going to be on payroll as an executive. Now, why have a multi-million pounds deal as an ambassador? You can do this. You can, as an executive, you can do whatever you do.
Actually, he's a non-executive now.
Now, you can do whatever you want to do as an executive of the club. As a member of the executive, as a member of the board, you can do whatever you want to do as an ambassador as well. You can give your advice from the executive role. You can give your anything you want to do from that role. You get? So don't say an ambassador because he's an ambassador of this club. You put, see, it will ever forever be a pressure. I'm not saying sack him of the. I'm not saying sack. I'm not saying sack him from coming to Old Trafford. He's a legend. I see some matches for Leeds United. Eric Cantona comes to the stadium to watch. I see some matches for Man United as well. Eric Cantona comes to the stadium. He's a legend for both clubs. You get. I see some state matches as well. You see Ryan Giggs and all of the class of 92 coming to play. Now, because of this class of 92, 6 of them went on to win Champions League and all of that. You not tell me that academic graduates from Man United did not live up to potential. But as a coach, you have 23. I think it was 23 years as a job on the job. Now other managers come in and 2 years they are sacked. Why?
Because of the management. The management do not want to keep them longer than that period.
It tells a story. It tells a story. And Ineos team are looking at, okay, fine, this is what is happening in the club. Let's see if we can do this, if we can do that. I think for Man City, before the Qataris bought it, or this Saudis bought it, before for Man City, there was coaches. Coaches have been coming. Coaches have been winning trophies. The Mancinis, the Pellegrinis, and all of that. They've been winning trophies. They've been winning. They've been competing. But what happened? The record. You get, once a new management comes in, they want to manage the club in their own light. We saw that for Newcastle as well. They could have gone out of their way to get a Pep Guardiola, a Jose Mourinho, but they want to build a record for themselves as a new owner of the club. This is not Glazers handling the club. This is the Ineos team.
So do you think that is the cost that they are removing for the cost, or because the pressure he's bringing into the club?
For me, it's not the pressure. It's not the cost. Ineos want to break away from the old mold. They want to rebuild Manchester United in their own identity. If you look at what they did at OGC Nice, you are going to look at the same thing being done at OGC Nice. You come in, you remove anybody who is on an advisory role or whatever role, you get rid of them, you bring in your own people, you bring in your own manager, you bring in your own staff, and then you run the team like there was an interview I was seeing yesterday, which is putting OGC, the Ineos team's performance at OGC Nice, pari passu with that of Manchester United, and you look over at OGC Nice, it's 9th, 5th for a couple of years under the Ineos team after doing all the changes they've made. And you look across the pond at Manchester United, same old thing too. So for me, they are just trying to remove and rebrand the team under Ineos and make the team the way they want the team to be. Simple. It's not cost. Do you think that it's not influence? It's none of these reasons.
It's a bad thing for them even to think about it that way.
It's not a bad thing to think about. You bought a company, you rebrand it the way you want the company to function. It's not a bad thing. You get. Then you also look at the part of cost. They are trying to innovate the Old Trafford Stadium. They're trying to build a new Old Trafford Stadium. So you see that renovating stadium and building new one is going to cost them more money. You get, and they want to run footballing matters in Man United, make Man United great again. That's their target. If making Man United great again is to cut off, you get, influence from outside, then fine. You get, you talked about their 7 years at Nice, where they finished 9th and 7th. At Man United, they've not even started their job at Man United. You're already counting them finishing at below.
I'm just calling it as it is because that's their record. And then you come to the Manchester United Stadium. You bought over a 25% stake in Manchester United. You are not full ownership of the club, so you can't come in as a minority stakeholder and now want to now come and determine for the majority stakeholders who we are going to work with in that role. I think that's clash of interest, and the Glazers will have a conversation about that.
They have more percentage than Glazers.
They have more percentage. The Glazers are split.
The Glazers are still majority stake owners of the full club. And Ineos bought a 25% stake and have rule over footballing matters. So they are only overseeing footballing matters while Glazers maintain majority stake and are in charge of the commercial. Now they only have an option to expand their stake to majority stake over the course of a couple years. And then if you come in on this topic now, you tell me that for the cost of a £7 million salary, you cannot build a stadium, which you according to your takeover clause, you mapped out 300 million to do already. You've already mapped out 300 million for the new stadium. You've already mapped out a transfer budget, which we saw over the last 2 seasons. These things were mapped out. So you are not sourcing or begging for funds to execute these projects. The projects were mapped out and funds were set out for this. This is part of your takeover buying clause. You understand me? So there's more to this that meets the eyes. And if you tell me it's financial, then you don't know anything.
Probably there might be more to this particular deal that meets the eye, because they have decided, Ineos have decided to cut off Sir Alex Ferguson's ambassadorial deal. It's a multi-million pounds deal. They have decided to cut it off, and let's see what happens. I don't think the Glazers will do anything about it. Probably have agreed that he should go. probably for whatever reason it is. But now he has left that role for Old Trafford. Let's see what happens. The news just broke today. Let's see what will proceed after they have concluded this whole matter. See you guys later.